Your debit card should almost never leave your house. I know that sounds extreme, but think about what a debit card actually is. It's a direct pipeline to your money, your checking account, the cash you need to pay rent, buy groceries, cover your bills. And every single time you swipe it somewhere it doesn't belong, you're leaving that pipeline exposed. And here's the thing nobody really prepares you for. When something goes wrong with a debit card, that money is gone, immediately, out of your account, while you're on hold with the bank trying to explain what happened. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly when to use a debit card, when to use a credit card, and most importantly, why mixing them up is one of the most quietly expensive mistakes in personal finance, not because of fees, because of risk. Hey, I'm Peter, and I love talking about personal finance and wealth building. Now, here's where most people get this wrong. They think credit cards are dangerous. They think using a debit card is responsible because you're spending your own money. That feels logical, right? It's completely backwards. Let's actually break down what these two cards are. Not how they feel, but what they literally are. A debit card is your money. Every transaction hits your account in real time. When you swipe at a gas station, online, at a restaurant, that cash leaves immediately. There's no buffer, no middleman protecting you. A credit card is the bank's money. You're spending their funds and settling up later. That one-step difference, it changes everything about who's responsible when something goes wrong. Imagine you're filling up your gas tank. You swipe your debit card at the pump. Seems fine. What you don't know is there's a skimmer, a tiny device criminals attach to card readers, harvesting your card number in the background. Now they have your debit card information, and within hours, they're spending from your checking account, not some abstract bank balance. Your money, the funds you were counting on.
Here's the part nobody tells you. You might not even notice for days, and every hour that passes matters, because the law treats debit card fraud very differently from credit card fraud. Under the Electronic Funds Transfer Act, if you report a stolen debit card within 2 days, your liability is capped at $50. Wait longer than 2 days? That jumps to $500. Wait past 60 days, you could be on the hook for everything. Everything! And debit card fraud accounted for 39% of fraud losses at financial institutions in 2024, according to a Federal Reserve survey. That's not a small number. That's the single largest category of fraud loss, bigger than check fraud, bigger than ACH fraud, bigger than credit cards. Now, run that same scenario with a credit card. Someone steals your card number, they make charges, you check your statement, see something wrong, call the bank. Under the Fair Credit Billing Act, your maximum liability is $50, and most major card issuers will make it zero, no questions asked. And here's the crucial detail. You never lost a dollar of your own money. The bank lost money, and they have every incentive in the world to get it back. That's why disputing fraud on a credit card is faster, cleaner, and almost always resolved in your favor. The bank isn't doing you a favor, they're protecting themselves, and you happen to benefit from that. Credit card issuers disputed $9.8 billion in charges in 2024. That machine exists. It's already running. When you use a credit card, you're plugged into it. When you use a debit card, you're on your own. So what is a debit card actually good for? ATMs, bank branches, and apps like Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal because those platforms are already pulling directly from your account anyway. That's the right context. When you need cash in hand or when you're doing a direct transfer to someone you already know and trust, the debit card has its place. But everyday purchases, online shopping, dinner out, gas, that's not where it belongs. Think of it this way. Your debit card is like the key to your front door. You only take it out when you're actually opening the door. You wouldn't hand it to a stranger at a restaurant and ask them to go check that it works.
Here's something most people haven't thought about. When fraud hits a debit card, it doesn't just drain your checking account. If you have overdraft protection linked to a savings account, which most people do, a thief potentially has access to that too. 2 accounts, 1 card number, and the psychological cost isn't nothing. Research published in the 2024 European Symposium on Usable Security found that most fraud victims who were fully reimbursed still reported being psychologically impacted months or years later. The stress of frozen accounts, disputed transactions, and waiting for resolution, that's real. And it's avoidable. Now here's the part that actually makes this a no-brainer. Not only does a credit card protect you better, it pays you to use it. Cash back, travel points, purchase protection, extended warranties. Depending on the card, you could be getting 1.5% to 5% back on everyday spending you are already going to do. Your debit card gives you none of that. You spend the same money, take more risk, and get nothing in return. The cards with the strongest dispute processes, in my experience, are Amex and Chase. Both have reputations for backing their cardholders fast and hard when fraud happens. That matters. So here's the shift worth making. Stop thinking about which card is yours. Start thinking about which card creates a layer between your money and the world. Credit card in your wallet, debit card at home or in a drawer, reserved for the specific moments it actually makes sense. ATMs, bank transfers, direct person-to-person payments. That's not about being reckless with credit, it's about being strategic with protection. Because in 2024 alone, U.S. consumers lost over $12.5 billion to fraud, a 25% jump from the year before. The threat isn't slowing down, but your exposure to it, that's something you can control. The next time you reach for your wallet, the question isn't, which card do I feel like using? It's, whose money am I putting at risk right now? Make it the bank's every time you can.